Howdy there, Internet people. Welcome to Sci-Fi Miami's Film Club, New Horizons. And we've got a real special deal for you today. We have three films, three sets of filmmakers, and it will be lots of cool fun, all crammed into about 40 minutes of fun. We have the film Liftoff, we have the film Cygnus, and we have the film Ingenium, all award-winning films at Sci-Fi Miami these past couple of years. With us, we have Carlos Alvahuante, we have Steffen
Hi.
we have Kevin Hughes, we have Hugo Félix Mercado, and we have Damien Donnelly. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And we have one of our co-hosts, Doug Harned, is here. How you doing, Doug? Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Hi,
Doug's
Doug.
in his reading room. And so what we're going to do today, of course, is just cover, just touch a little bit about the film, because if you haven't seen the film, in our opinion, it's definitely something that should be on your watch list. Not because we just want to promote people's films. Of course we do. But we want to promote really good sci-fi films that you rarely will get to see. Why we rarely get to see? Because film festivals are not everywhere. They're only in small, select parts of our universe, and they only can play a limited amount of films. How do we know it's limited? Well, just look at what's going on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. Do you know all the films that play there? No. Do you like all the films that play there? No. But I can bet you this: you'll like more of our films than all of their films. How do we know? Because we probably vet more films than they do. So here we are, and let's start off with introducing some of the folks here. Hugo, good to see you here, man. Hugo's coming to us from Mexico. What city in Mexico are you in, Hugo?
Mexico City.
Mexico City. Carlos.
Dad, how is the food going?
Hold on, sweetie.
Please, we want to watch TV, do we? Or do we want to?
It's the birthday girl. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Birthday girl's here. Birthday girl's here. Hi.
Happy
Birthday.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I don't think you're going to get a better birthday greeting than that from three separate parts of
Dad,
the
can I
world.
tell you something?
Sure.
My mom brought wings, purple, green, and bumblebee.
That's awesome. Well, you guys go have a good time, and I'll let you know about the TV in a minute, okay?
Okay, later you can fix the TV.
Yes.
Play.
Network television. Anyway, let's continue. I apologize for that, everybody.
No, don't worry.
When you have a daughter, trust me, the daughter scenario is 100% true. They run the house, they control everything.
Yeah, I know that.
So, Carlos, you were telling us what part of the world are you calling in from?
I'm in Hermosillo, Sonora, in Mexico, at the northern part of Mexico.
Oh, the northern
Border.
part. The
Yeah,
border. The border
with the United States. Yeah,
what big city?
Hermosillo, near to Nogales.
What state? What U.S. state borders this?
Nogales, Arizona.
Nogales. Is that near New Mexico or Texas?
No, in
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
Arizona. Oh, wow. So that's part of that movie that was 310 to Yuma. You guys are in it. Awesome stuff. And Kevin, tell us a little bit about you, Kevin.
I live in Kilkenny, as does Damien. It's a small town in Ireland, in the southeast of Ireland.
Southeast of Ireland. And pronounce the name of the city one more time for us.
Kilkenny.
Kilkenny. Wow, that's impressive.
Kilkenny.
Think of South Park. Oh my God, they've killed Kenny. Bad joke of the day.
Here we go. go. All right, that's good. That's good.
Rough.
No, that's awesome. The closest I've ever been there, I think, was in Aberdeen. I've been to Aberdeen. Aberdeen.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's the closest I've been. Or Wales, if Wales is close.
It is close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And Damien, you also. Damien, you
Troy.
say it again?
It's a medieval city, so we have a castle. We actually have a castle in Kilkenny, and there's a lot of history. So we've had lots of visitors come. We get about 400,000 visitors when there's not a pandemic going on, come in our direction.
Wow. So Kilkenny is a touristy town. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple photos of it. It's a very beautiful place. That's awesome.
And we do beer. We have a beer called Kilkenny beer.
I have seen this. I think I've
It's
seen
red
it. I'm not a beer drinker, but I have.
Ready. So.
You have a can that you can show us? You have a can of this beer that you can show?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. And Stefan, Mr. Hacker, where are you chiming in?
I'm calling from Stuttgart in Germany. I don't think the city is known for anyone other than its cars. People know Mercedes, people know Porsche. Those are all made here. Oh, and Stuttgart was featured in Avengers 1, but of course it was just the name dropping because not a single scene was shot in Germany. They just made it to Stuttgart.
They just mentioned it, but they shot it in Atlanta. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, that's pretty neat. Stuttgart. And Stuttgart is, I think you mentioned earlier, it's near Austria. It's not far from Austria. So cool stuff.
Yeah, very south.
So let's talk a little bit about the film Liftoff. I have let's see what's going on here with our Liftoff. It's not lifting off. What's going on?
Houston, have we got a problem?
Oh wait, what's this? I'm almost certain this is not correct. Yeah, folks, if you drop off for whatever reason or another, don't worry. Just come right back in. We'll add you to it. If you happen to be on Wi-Fi is not perfect, so wireless may drop. It may drop on you, which is no fun. But we're going to try and play. We're going to try and play. What do we have here? I'm going to share my screen, guys. One moment.
Did you pay for those first ones? Okay, how much?
I can't get a hold of them.
You didn't order it?
I just told you that I'm having a hard time calling them. Wow. That was a Liftoff. All right. So, Damien, can you tell us a little bit about Liftoff? Oh, Kevin, you actually directed the film, and Damien, you're the producer in the film.
That's right. It's actually Damien's fault because on Monday he came to me and said that we should make a film for CineSpace, which is a festival in Houston run by NASA. And I said, when's the deadline? And he says, next Monday. So we had to write a script, cast the film, shoot the film, edit the film, get it to the festival by Monday, which we managed to do as well, and I blame him over there, over here.
Over this way.
Doesn't matter. I blame him for it because that's what the challenge was, trying to come up with a project really quickly, no script, and sort of workshop it with actors, and that's what emerged from it, which is that film we see.
And
Yeah.
the motivation.
So tell us a little bit about the story of Liftoff.
It's about a little girl who dreams of. She's a space nut. She's got all kinds of space stuff in her life, and she dreams of going to the moon. That's what she's actually dreaming about. And one night, her parents are arguing about the relevance of spending money on space exploration, and she comes into that world. She gets out of bed and comes into that world and interrupts the discussion and explains to them in a little letter she sends down in a little airplane why space exploration is worth the effort. And the end of the film is she ends up working for NASA. So it's a nice conclusion.
Yeah, and you know, folks, that's been a common story for many of the films that are produced today. They will. In fact, there's a film on a series on Apple TV. It's about the Russians went to the moon first. But, so it's a historical timeline. It takes place over a period of about, I guess, 20 years. And it's a young lady. There's a backstory of a young lady that her parents are illegally immigrating into the United States. And at the same time, the Apollo project's going on. There's all these problems with it. And the Russians actually land on the moon first. But somehow, I don't know the whole story, but she eventually, I think, becomes an astronaut, which is pretty interesting. Sounds like someone is opening up something. So it's, I think that's a common theme that we have been hearing, which is pretty neat. Yeah. So where can we see Liftoff?
Well, Damien does all the distribution part of it, so I'll hand it over to him for that.
It's available, actually. It took an interesting journey. We got it actually up on Aer Lingus, which was the national airline, so it was actually up on plane for a period.
That's impressive.
For 2 months.
That's an interesting way to distribute the film. Do you know any idea on how it performed on the airline?
The funny thing is we asked the question, they don't actually clock the actual views. But we were actually fortunate to be going on a trip to the States. So we actually saw Liftoff in a plane going to the States. So it was really funny because the air host had a look at them going, why are you watching Liftoff like 10 times, pressing the button? Because I thought they were clocking the actual views, but they didn't. We also got it actually up on Shorts TV. So the actual channel, web channel, it showed only a couple of weeks back, and then we've ended up getting it on Amazon Prime. So it's actually available with your Prime membership. So you can literally put it on your watch list, please, because we do appreciate any views and any of the comments.
Sure.
User feedback is really worthwhile as well, and any stars and ratings and stuff like that. So we very much kind of when we got it done. The whole idea was to get it out there, to get as many people to see it and make it available. So we very much have pushed it out there. We did get a trip. We did go on a trip to NASA. So that was actually one of the main motivations for making the film, was actually to go and visit the folks in NASA. So so we between in-flight entertainment, basically online. We did use a distributor called Film Hub. I don't know, did you hear about those guys? They very much will take product and basically create your catalog. So you have to give them like the posters in different dimensions, and subtitling is really important. With Amazon, you need to have a subtitle or they won't take it, even in English, because they have the accessibility element. We did actually get Liftoff into a Chinese film festival, or festival we got invited to. So it's actually available in Chinese subtitles, French, Spanish, I think we've German as well. So that kind of helped to get it out there, because the more deliverables you have for the end distribution point, the better.
That's right. And what's your take on your festival run that you had? It played in a few festivals at least. Played at ours, of course, and did quite well.
Absolutely, we won an award. We won the Children's Award.
That's correct.
and the Beacon Award. It definitely helps. This festival particularly gave a good old bounce, because what I noticed was that the likes of people searching, the likes of IMDb and stuff like that, you'd notice kind of an uptake on that, because it is about getting the message out. And when you talk about the movie, where can you see it? You need to be able to point them somewhere convenient, somewhere where they can just kind of pick it out. Because we do live in this Netflix type of world where convenience is, I want to watch it when I want to watch it, kind of thing. So definitely the on-demand and streaming elements. And Film Hub, they have an insight, like a dashboard for the back end. So as the streams start to run, like we won't be retiring anytime soon, put it that way, because the rates are, it's cent per hour kind of thing. Now you do get a percentage of sales and stuff, but what I think is really important, and I think you alluded to it earlier, Troy, was about merchandise. I think the element of, you're seeing the film, bring home, the T-shirt or the other elements as well is important, and pushing the movie, pushing the concept, pushing the people. And then like IMDb helps as well. So if people are checking out people to get involved in projects, if you're going to go fund it and do all that kind of stuff, you definitely need to have a profile. So it is about collaboration. It is about reaching out to other, people who are doing the same thing. And we all have the same dilemma. We're trying to make something to be, to have a message, or to get it out there, or, to go somewhere. Because film can bring you anywhere around the world. We were lucky, actually. We got into CERN, the Cine Globe Film Festival, where the Collider is in Switzerland. Myself and Kevin, and we went on a trip. So we actually saw the Collider, but we got invited over because of Liftoff. So it opened the doors. It's like a passport to the world, because you have something common to talk about. So we had a good old run. I think that's we were in CERN. We were in Houston. Anywhere else, Kevin? I'm probably forgetting.
Those are the main two we went to. I think we got into about, is it 16 or 17 festivals altogether, which is quite, for a little film like this that was shot so quickly with no budget.
Yeah,
it's quite.
And did you actually attend some of the festivals yourself?
Well, we went to NASA, obviously, because you get a guided tour and all kinds of VIP. We went to CERN because they brought you down to the Collider, 80 meters on the ground, and showed you the Atlas camera. Those are the main two we went to, but then sort of COVID kicked in and the festivals weren't accessible either. So
but your festival,
you couldn't really travel around the world with it, because it's a small film. Like you go to the festival and it's you spend all your money going from festival to festival.
It's a challenge to attend a festival because of the expense, of course. However, I must say this, and I got this from, I'm sure everybody here has heard of Spike Lee, who, yes, he's famous with a lot of the films that he produces today, but it took him a very long time to get there. And I read an article, which has got to be at least 10 years old, and I believe what he says. And what he said at the time was that a film festival is actually your distribution, the beginning of your distribution of your film. And it's not as easy as today as it was, say, 5 years ago, granted. But things will eventually pick back up to where people are going to want to attend movie theaters to watch films. And he mentioned that it's a great opportunity to network with people who actually are more your fans than you think, especially if they like your film, and will spread the word about your film. In addition, you get the opportunity to sell shirts. This is one of the cool festivals that I attend, World's Austin, really great film festival, sci-fi film festival in Austin. It's an authentic sci-fi festival. There are only a few sci-fi festivals in the world relative to many of the other, relative to all the other festivals. You'll be able to sell some merchandise, shirts or mugs or buttons. And granted, it may not pay for your entire trip, but it will help supplement it. So, these things should play a role in there because when you look at the whole equation, you look at the whole equation of the amount of money that you're planning to spend to produce your film. Marketing needs to be part of that budget, and attending a festival is marketing. You want to be able to market it at the festival, help get the word out. It does matter. It's an additional cost. That's the film. That's part of the film. Look at a great example would be look how much money is spent on these big budget films, so-called big budget films. The amount of money they spend to market the film. In many cases, it's a fraction of what the film cost. They'll spend 10, $20 million on marketing their films, and the film only has a $60 million budget. So they're spending a quarter of the money that they set aside to make the film. So if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, it's more money, but look what it's doing for you. It's helping you get a return on the investment, And I'm actually working on a talk, and the title of the talk, and I can't put in all of the words, but the title of the talk is "Everybody is Not Going to See the Film," and it's filled with metrics to explain why. It's filled with metrics to explain why, and so that's all I'm going to say about that. I really love the film. It won one of our top awards, being a children's film, so even a huge family audience that can be inspired watching this film. When my daughter's old enough, she's definitely going to see it. That's for sure. So going down the pipe, Steffen Hacker, tell us before you are disconnected one more time. Tell us about Ingenium.
Now I switch to the notebook. I hope I'm not disconnecting anymore. I basically did the opposite to Liftoff. I worked on the film Ingenium for a very, very, very long time. I'm normally directing commercials, and together with my directing partner, we are trying to lift off a Hollywoodish sci-fi film for almost a decade by now. And I was just tired of waiting for money for anyone believing in us. So I said, no, I'll just do something on my own. I don't want to wait any longer. So I took some money, went for a few shooting days. For a quarter of a year, I put together a script with a friend. And after shooting in Thailand, I realized that I didn't like the story anymore. And from then on, it took me 6 more years to A, correct the story, and B, try not to reshoot the stuff in Thailand because it was a lot of money to travel and organize everything there. And then we continued to shoot all over Germany, doubling for Berlin and a little bit of Berlin to create a time travel, sci-fi, mysterious thriller. And it played in 2019 in awesome festivals like yours. And we have distribution since July. So in the US, Ingenium can be streamed on all the big platforms since July.
And July that's only a few months. Where did it get any traction first? Where did the traction start when you put it out on VOD?
Good question. I have no idea because I think I won't be getting any update or info before end of the year. I guess that's the way the whole thing rolls and works. It's not like as a filmmaker you can track. I can track some bad IMDb feedback for sure. Someone giving you 1 star saying, "Oh my God, it had subtitles. I hate German," stuff like this. So I think it's very hard for a filmmaker to get an idea on how often it was played, what's the response to it, because you are very far away. The distributor or the world sales is not giving you direct feedback on how it goes.
Yes. Let's take a look at the trailer here. Whoops. Holy smokes! All right. You guys won a couple awards with this film. And is it my microphone that's a little high, or is it just somebody else's here?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just my system. I'm getting a lot of hot noise here. Anyway, the film. I think you actually won Best Director. Is that correct, Steffen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you won Best Director, and Esther Mob. Is that the right way to?
Yeah. The problem, it's an S, which is a sharp S in German, and it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world on the keyboard. So whenever you send an email, let's say to the S, this S is suddenly vaporized, so it's wrong everywhere else. Esther is, and we still hate ourselves for not having joined. These days, I tell every filmmaker, if you have the chance, go to the festival. Because back then, I was like, well, I need the money now. I have this job coming, so I better take the job. Who knows when jobs are coming in? Let's go to the festival next year. You can talk to the guys. You can still enjoy the festival next year. Next year? Yeah, now we see what next year is and what happened and stuff. So I think you need to do it on the spot, always, right now. Never wait.
That sounds a little bit like the contract you need to, when you're making the film, the contract to attend the festivals, to get some sort of remuneration, or you'll be paid, or we'll take care of your expenses. In my opinion, it's important. It does matter. It does matter, and if you don't, in some cases, you get someone to come to play as that actor. We did that. I did that with a film of mine called Longevity. I made many years ago, and with my colleagues at the time, and we actually contracted someone to play a role. We put them in the costume to play the role, and I think that got us votes, and we won best film that night. We won the Oscar, I think, because of that. So a little bit matters. Every little bit adds up cumulatively, and it does matter.
I think I did a small video to play at the end of it. I can't remember. I hope I did, because whenever I wasn't physically traveling, I tried to connect somehow with the audience, but it's never like the real deal. Like being on the festival can't be replaced for sure.
I don't have the full film here with me, only the trailer.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah. So whereabouts are we able to watch the film? I know there are certain places, but how many do you?
As Damien said before, the shortest and easiest way, Amazon. In the US, it can be rented on Amazon. I think it's not much, a few bucks, not a big deal. For other countries, maybe it's like they already sold it. So, but I hope everyone has a VPN to be able to see it in the US, like from Mexico, for example. But so far, I only know for sure that on the bigger platforms in the US, it's available, like Amazon, maybe $2.99 or something to stream.
Sure. Well, if it's on Prime, which I thought I saw Prime, I'm not sure. But if it's on Amazon,
it's not included in Prime. It's a rent.
It's not in Prime.
No.
Okay. I don't know how. I haven't worked out the mathematical differences. I know that there are differences. So, for example, it could probably be watched 100 times, 50 times on Prime, and that could be equivalent to one sale outside of Prime, as far as the revenue that you would make from it. So why it's that way, I don't know. But those are the mathematical models that you can start basing your returns with.
Well, if it would be my decision, I think Prime would be best, because as a filmmaker, it's not about making your money back. The money's lost. We know that. We all know that. It's very, very unlikely that we ever get the money back that we put into our films. So I want the maximum audience for it, which would be Prime. But it's not on me to decide that. So I just hope.
So then when you get it on Prime, Amazon makes the decision whether or not it goes on Prime?
No, the sales company in the US.
Distribution.
Yeah,
Okay,
the distributor.
Okay.
Yeah, so on Film Hub, perhaps in Film Hub, is when you put it up on their catalog, the likes of Amazon are actually one of the buyers. So they actually go through what's available. So if your movie, Stefan, was on, say, Film Hub, they would then select it, and then you have all the deliverables, and then they decide that it goes, say, on Amazon Prime or IMDb TV is the higher ranking. So if you go above that, you get a better rate for the screens. So it's actually either sale, as you said, direct sale, and you get a percentage. I think with Amazon, it's like 50% of the sale if you sell it or rent it. And then, as Troy was saying, it's a small percentage per screen. But in Film Hub, I can see on a graph, you can actually see the movements on a weekly basis. So you can see it kind of going upwards. But then you're waiting for quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. So it'll probably be 2021 when we see a couple of bucks back.
Right.
But it's out there. It is kind of making money of some description. But it's a tough one. It is a tough one. But as Kevin said, the motivation was very much, we set ourselves a target. We had like a week to do it. We used Kevin's house. We used actors we knew, with real low budget, guerrilla filmmaking, Robert Rodriguez style, and Kevin pulled it off. He wrote a great story and directed a great short. And it's the next project. It's the next project. It's getting your name out there, Stefan. Getting your projects out there and people to connect and view. So that's the fun bit. That's the hard bit. Making money is the hard bit. It's all fun. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, so all right. Well, that is pretty interesting, and I think that the world of distribution has changed quite a bit. At the end of the day, I think marketing is what eventually helps the numbers more than anything else. You could have someone working for you in distribution, but they have to put the marketing efforts behind it so that people actually want to see the film or get to know that it's available. And that falls into my talk about everybody's not going to see your film. So in any case, Hugo, before we get started, I'd like to share your trailer here. Let's play the trailer.
Pues todo parece normal, no veo nada raro.
¿Nada?
Te dio un ataque de pánico.
¿Tenías mal de montaña?
No.
La emisión fue ayer en la noche, a las 10:15. Un evento energético que provino de Cygnus X3.
Un video que se traba. ¿Esa es su prueba? Te está haciendo daño a la altura.
No, escúchame. Alguien se llevó los archivos de mi computadora.
¡Vamos a ver!
¿Cómo le dabas la orden a Gerardo?
Le pedí que respaldara tu información. Mírate. Esta no eres tú. ¿Crees que descubriste una señal extraterrestre?
Es obvio que estas personas están escondiendo algo.
Whoa! Another thriller, actually, definitely a thriller, definitely sci-fi thriller. And Cygnus actually was best film in 2019, right? Or 2018?
Yeah, that's right.
2018.
Yeah.
Best film, best sci-fi film. And we had some people comment, because we do a lot of rewatches, and we had some people comment, "How come this film is not on Netflix?"
Oh, I don't know. I, one of the big issues for us is distribution. And to find the correct people that can help us to sell our story. And this problem is present in my country and in an international level. Right now, you can watch Cygnus at Amazon in the US, but not in the other parts of the world. Right now, there's a very nice platform that is called Movies, that if you are in any part of the world except the United States, you can watch the film, and only for $1.
Oh, wow.
It's so if you have opportunity to watch,
What's the name of it again?
please do that.
The name of it again?
Movies, mowies.com. It's movies.com. That's a platform made for creators, for filmmakers that are living in Latin America. So you will find a lot of work from Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, of course. So that's a place where you can watch it.
That's interesting. That's very good info.
Yeah.
Especially for an international festival that plays a lot of international films. I would say 30% of our films, 30 to 40% are international.
Yeah.
So that's valuable. And most folks don't realize that, the marketplace is very, very big and very segmented. Damien, you're probably most familiar with this. So just because you sell your film or play it in the United States, it could also play in a separate market, which would be in North America, which would be Canada. Then you have Mexico. That's still North America. Most folks don't realize that. And then you have the large European markets. There are many markets in the EU that are very different from each other. What plays in Deutschland is not going to be the same thing that plays in Switzerland. And it's the same language for the most part. So, all very different places where you could sell your film here, sell your film there, sell your film there. And after you sold it 5 times, if you budget it really well, you probably made much of the money back just on those 5 sales.
Well, as Steven, we think we are not going to get back any money, because it's a really, really hard situation. And we also prefer to have a lot of audience instead a few boxes, and in this case, we have a sales distributor that is trying to put the film in different countries. Right now, he make a interesting development in the US because we have this new distribution with Amazon, Google Play, and YouTube. And in Somos TV, that is a very important TV channel for Hispanic people.
Right.
And we are studying the possibilities to expand in Chile and in Argentina. We are going to be in Auto Cinemas here in Mexico, and we are waiting for new opportunities when this pandemic times
That's right.
has ended. And I think that the big opportunity for us, for Carlos and for me, is to show to show our story in the way that we think that science fiction is our way. So we are working for our next project, thinking that this is our path.
Yeah, and not to, we need to also recognize that Cygnus won an Ariel Award. Well, I'm sorry, Cygnus was nominated for.
Was nominated, yeah.
And most folks who may not know, Ariel Award is the Oscars in Mexico. So that's very high level award, very high prestigious nomination, to me, a nomination is just as good as an award because there are many more people behind that didn't even get nominated. So it's a very, very positive thing. I firmly believe everyone's film will have a second wind because of the dynamics that we're experiencing with this pandemic. We just got to stick with it. Keep making your other films, but whatever's in the inventory, whatever's in the catalog is going to get watched again, if not purchased. So always keep that in mind. With the limited amount of time we have left, guys, does anybody want to say one or two things? Because we have a very limited amount of time today.
Well, I would like to ask Carlos what's his experience to write this story, because I have to say that Cygnus is written by him. It's a script that he had worked about 10 years, something like that. He really loves to make scripts in a long time. It's something that it's only for him. So, Carlos, this ball is for you.
Okay, that's not true. I write fast, but I'm a perfectionist, so I keep writing and writing and writing and reading and rereading, etc. No? But it was complicated because we didn't have the resources. Our country, it's hard to do films with great budget, so we had to make a new kind of science fiction that applies to our country and to our needs.
Yeah.
And that meant that we had to rely on the story first. We needed a good story because that was the mainstream of our film, without the special effects and things like that. Of course, the actors, all the crew. We needed professional people, very skillful, because that was our only resources. So we worked hard to try this and achieve this. And now that you are talking about the Arieles, in Mexico, the Ariel, we're very proud and surprised because the science fiction is not a genre very popular in our country. So the fact that they are looking at us and saying, "Look, they are making something different."
That's right.
So that's good. Let's give them even a nomination. Not the prize, but to start with a nomination.
Not the principal award, but
science fiction is really making its way into mainstream. In my opinion, it's actually for a good couple of years now. We're in the golden age of science fiction, and the returns, I think, speak for itself. Every network out there has multiple sci-fi films, if not series, that they're pushing. So, in my opinion, keep it up. Keep it up. So, Stefan, did you say something, Stefan?
But because I think the same. We have arrived at a time, of course, us filmmakers, we might not have broken into Netflix or them calling us, but a festival like yours, where you're on path for so long, and all of a sudden, like the big ones are jumping onto the ship as well, and I guess you're like, I told you, there's a demand, there's a passion for it. So I think that speaks for your film taste.
Oh, thank you very much. We at SciFi, he would probably concur on this, that we firmly believe that the only path forward is to use your head. And science fiction is an amazing tool that society has to help us understand how to prepare for tomorrow. And the evidence these days is clear. So we are going to continue our path and continue to push sci-fi film. All of the filmmakers of the past 7 years, we will continue to promote their films. And this platform we have here is one of the tools we use for that purpose. So even now, you want to come back tomorrow, not tomorrow, but you want to come back in other future shows and tell us what's going on with the film and share more news, this is always welcome. So
thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So with that said, guys, we've got to pull the plug because We also have weather here and some other logistical challenges in South Florida at the moment. But everybody, thank you so much for coming, Hugo, Kevin.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Damien, Steffen. Please, Carlos, keep writing, man. Next one, don't take 10 years, okay? Try to make it a year or two.
I'll
Yeah,
try.
please.
I promise.
I'm
I'll
working
try.
with him. Yeah, please, do as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Keep it up with the festival. Thanks for selecting us in the first place.
Okay. Wunderbar. All right.
Yeah.
Take care, guys. Thank you very much.
Stefan, nice to meet you. Damien and Kevin, nice to meet you too. And
Big
a
time.
big hug to Doc that I have seen you since 2018, since I was in Miami. So a big hug to you. And
right,
thank you very much, Troy.
You're
Stay
welcome.
healthy. guys.
See you, everybody. Again.
Glad to meet you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Awesome.